Hey everybody, it's just me making another video. This is Q&A with fitness65 today. Just answering all your guys' questions that you sent me in my inbox, and then some of your questions you sent me on that video which said I was starting up a second Q&A. I'm just going to answer all your guys' questions. This is probably going to be a three-part video because some of these questions are long. It's going to take a long answer to explain most of these questions. So yeah, so just expect a three-part or maybe a two-part video. But before I get to this video, I gotta say, Rip Jim Johnson. Just found out Jim Johnson just passed away today, and if you don't know who he is, he's the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. Very good guy. He took the Eagles. He took the Eagles to 5 NFC Championship games. Took them to the Super Bowl with that defense, and he was just a very underrated defensive coach that most people tend to not really talk about that much. And he's going to be sorely missed, as he was probably one of the best defensive coaches of all time. Well, he's on that list of one of the best defensive coaches of all time, because he was just motivated. He made sure the defense stepped up its game, and he just made sure that the defense never slacked off or it got pushed away or pushed by any other team. And he's going to be sorely missed. And my condolences go out to his family, his friends, the Eagle franchise, and just the people who knew him best. And he'll be sorely missed. So R.I.P. Jim Johnson. Let's get started. So let's get started with this. Getting off that subject, let's get started with this Q&A. We go with the first question, which was from Mighty Moz that he sent me. He was asking me, the first question he sent me was just wondering how you as a typical American view I guess British people. Me as a typical American, I just view British people as any other type of people, like just like Americans and any other type of people from another country. They're like the same, just like us. They speak the same, they do the same things we like, and they watch the same movies we like. They're into the same things we like, even though we have a different perspective when it comes to sports. They like their big sports are soccer and everything else that I really don't know at this moment. And ours is football, basketball. You can probably add soccer on there as well, but yeah, soccer, and then and baseball and everything else. So basically, we're different when it comes to sports, but everything else to me, we're just like alike. We're just the same, and that's how I view Britain people or British people. I view them as just the same as Americans or any other people from a different country. Second question he asked me: if you can pick three ex-wrestlers to come back to the WWE in their prime rather than coming back as an age legend like Steamboat, who would you pick, and what would you think they would bring to the current setup? Okay, the three people I picked on here in their prime to come back is Tito Santana, mainly to give him a good run, to put him in a really good storyline involving like someone like Triple H or somebody in the Intercontinental, somebody in the mid card area to kind of develop them and kind of get them going. The second person I got is Ted DiBiase, as he would add a lot to Raw or SmackDown as a very good heel, and then his wrestling ability, and then his storyline with his, I guess he can do the $1 Million Corporation as a wrestler by adding different guys in that stable, and that would help improve the Raw and SmackDown roster even more with a lot of heels in the group and him as the main heel. Third, I got Rick Martel, almost the same thing. Him just coming back and feuding with guys who are up and coming, or guys who are real better looking than him. He can have a feud like that, sort of reminiscent of his Shawn Michaels feud, where they were battling out of who would get Sherry and who was the best looking, I guess. So you can do something like that, but you can do it way better, something better like that, something better this time. And his third question is, why do you think basketball, American football, hasn't prospered outside of the USA as sports? I'm assuming it has something to do with most sports not wanting to put all the money out to sort of expand football and basketball, like to where it be nationally known. like have them play basketball in a different country instead of playing it in the same arenas that most teams are from. Same with football. They can go in like different countries like England or something like that instead of playing regular season games at home, at a team's home or a team away. So yeah, you can do it. Like, I just think they could do that, but like I said, it probably just has something to do with the money, which is why it hasn't went globally like it's supposed to. But I'm pretty sure in the next 5 or 6 years it'll probably be global and nationally and known and well known wide, to the point where you'll be seeing games televised all over the world, and then you'll be seeing most games done in different countries instead of being played in the U.S. So I'm pretty sure in the next 5 or 6 years you'll see something like that. So yeah, the answer to that question, like I said, is just mainly because the sports don't want to put more money and they don't want to go as global as what they are now. So yeah, that's the 3 questions I answered for Mighty Moss. Thank you for sending me your questions, and hopefully I answered your questions the best I can. Then moving over to Jeff Hardy, next WWE's man. He gave me 3 questions. He also wanted me to do a video request of who my top 10 overrated wrestlers of all time are. Another guy sent me a question like that, so I'll probably just put 2 of your guys' name on there. So yeah, just expect that video sometime next week or something like that. But yeah, getting to him, his first question, his first question that he put on here is, what do you think of the U.S. title, IC title, both women's title, all losing much prestige, and the fact that they don't mean shit anymore? What do you think about that, and how do you think they could bring prestige back to these titles? I feel that the WWE, I feel bad about these titles losing their prestige, because these were belts that were really, they really had people talking about them because they were putting them on the right people, and they were having feuds and other stuff like that over the belts that made the belts so credible to the point where they were almost at the same level as the world title or the WWE title. And then second, I think the WWE could do what they're doing with Rey Mysterio, and what they were doing with Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho, sort of having matches like that with guys who sort of been a guy that's been two guys who've been established, and just feuding with each other to help kind of bring prestige to the belt, and then add some more people to it. That's what I think they should do with the WWE's women's title and the US title. They're doing it with the IC title, so I really don't need to explain much about the IC title, but that's what I think they should do with the US title and the women's title, is have 2 guys who are sort of established, develop a feud between the two, or have a feud between 2 guys who really aren't really established as much, 2 good wrestlers who really aren't that established that much, have them feud with each other, sort of like Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho, and then let it go on from there, and then the prestige will sort of get back to what it should be. But I'm afraid the WWE won't do this. Well, they are doing it with the IC title, but I'm afraid they won't do it with the 2 titles you mentioned, the women's title and the US title, because they really don't care about those 2 titles, like what you said in the first part of your question. Moving over to the second question, you said, you asked me, do you watch TNA wrestling? Not as of late, as TNA wrestling has sort of been crap ever since Victory Road, and some of the storylines don't even make much sense as before. And then you said, what do you think of it? Do you think that the WWE versus TNA will ever come back? No, because okay, you said you think of it. Do you think that WWE versus TNA will ever come back? The war, you mean, I guess? No, I don't think that'll happen because of how TNA's been doing as of late, of not building young guys and pushing the same old guys in the main event level, to the point where the IWC and many other people who enjoy TNA are sort of fed up with it. No, I don't think that'll happen. And then you said, do you think they will ever come back? If so, do you think the Attitude Era will return? No, because the Attitude Era was edgy, and they did stuff that the WWE really can't do now because of the PG rating. So no, I don't think the Attitude Era will ever come back because of WWE being PG and not wanting to go get as edgy as it used to be. So no, I don't see that happening. Stay tuned for part 2.